What's going on, guys? Boosted Whips here. Today we're gonna go ahead and be installing the V4 bumper on my homie here, Tony.graphy. You can check him out on Instagram. We're gonna go ahead and do the full install and what it entails. V4, we're also here at the shop with Paul. You can also check him out at XG No Fears on Instagram as well. He has a shop. We have done a video previously before when we're doing the strut bar, so definitely check that out. So today we're gonna go ahead and do the whole entire process step by step, what we need to do. Obviously we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the bumper. We'll get to that now. But to start off, we're gonna go ahead and assemble the V4 bumper with all the trim pieces, and we'll walk you through each one. So let's get started. All right, the very first thing you wanna do on the V4 bumper is remove this center bar that's right here. You can use a Dremel tool or anything that easily can cut it. You can use even a Gillette itself, but we're gonna go ahead and remove that whole bumper. Go ahead. All right, next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and assemble the three-piece lip. You can start whichever way you want, but this is gonna go ahead and use these small screws, and it's 2 on each side to do the three-piece, so you're gonna use about 4. And then there's longer screws which you will go ahead and drill to your OEM bumper in the center, but we'll show you that. But right now it's just to assemble this. You use 2 small screws on one side, and then the other side you'll use 2 screws. Again, you can use start however you want. There's different trims, so you also got to add the trims here. There's some trims that go here in the bottom. The fog light trim is last, but we'll go through that as we go along. But you can start as wherever you want. We're starting with a 3-piece, and we're gonna add that lip to the bumper. So here's the other side. Again, you'll use the small screws for that. And that's how that looks. So we're gonna go ahead and install the side trim pieces. So there's some little slats that are here, which matches also the trim. As you see, there's like 3. So you're gonna have to kind of tuck in and then push in. It's a little bit hard to get it on the video, but. And then you screw it on the back with 2 small screws. All right, so the screw is like tucked in through the little grooves as you guys see there. So it's a little bit hard, but I'm filming from the bottom. Here's the second one, and you'll do the same on the opposite side as well. So we went ahead and already added the other side trim, and then we're gonna go ahead and add these small trims at the bottom. It takes 3 screws, which is this trim right here. Let me show you. 1 on each side, and you use 3 screws. So use 3 small screws, same thing from the bottom, like so. And now you do the same thing on the other side. So we're doing here the other side. Same thing, you line it up with the pillars, and you can go ahead and screw the 3 screws from the bottom, as you saw previously. So there it is, screwed it from the bottom. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and install the 3-piece lip. This goes with 10 push clips. So to make it easy, if you're working alone, you can start either from the center, not from the corners. But essentially you just wanna get all the clips. They go in fairly easy. There's that. Line them up with the hose, push in, and secure. Here's the last one. All right, the next step is to go ahead and add the 3 screws. You're gonna use the longer screws, which I'll show you in a little bit. I just wanted to explain a little bit. what we're gonna do here. So you have the alternative. The way this was designed is so that you can screw from the inside of the bumper. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that. So you guys see here, there's preset holes already. So you will align the pillars and drill from the top, from inside the bumper, I'm sorry. But then if anything, you ever want to remove the lid for any X, Y, and Z reason, you're gonna have trouble trying to access these screws. You might have to remove the bumper. So to facilitate the process, we're gonna go ahead and do it from the bottom. And we're gonna screw onto here and here. And possibly use these pillars, but we're gonna do it from the bottom, meaning from the outer side instead of from the inner side. So here is the other side. Alright guys, the next step is to go ahead and remove the OEM bumper. You're gonna go ahead and remove all the clips that are in the bottom. We already removed a few here. Trying to catch your ball in action. So you remove all those clips. Remove the side trims. And then there's 2 screws on each fender well, which we'll go ahead and I'll show. Alright, so here on the fender side, you're gonna remove this screw. There's another screw right here. You can remove that tab. And then there's a screw from the bottom here, which you need to remove. And you're gonna go ahead and do that on both sides. To facilitate the process, you wanna go ahead and rotate your wheel, as you guys see here. So you have easy access, and you'll do that on both sides. The next thing you wanna do is go ahead and remove the bottom pans. Plastic, those are all with push clips. So you guys can see there, Paul's like struggling there. That's that. All right, next thing you want to do is go ahead and disconnect the fog lights. Go ahead and take that pin out of there. There we go. And you do this on both sides before removing the bumper. Very important if you can use a second person so it doesn't create pressure on those connectors, but that is it. Bumper's out. And now we're gonna go ahead and start transferring over. We need to transfer over the fog and this whole center trim. All right, to remove the center trim that I was talking about, or the grill, you're gonna go ahead and remove 2 screws, which are located here. 2 on the opposite side. Let me try to get it so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. 2 screws right here. And then there's a corner one here, which is to release the trim piece that are on the side. And then everything else is like push trim, so we need to remove this screw out of here. And that's gonna go ahead and remove this whole trim piece right here. And then there's an outer screw, which I forgot to cover here. And that's on both sides. Again, that's to release this top trim here. You guys can see here. And this is gonna get replaced. You need to replace this with the one that's supplied, along with the headlight brackets, which I'll show in a bit. All right, the next thing is to release these push tabs here. And you guys can see the maneuver is you kind of push from above and pull, or push, should I say. And it is a pain, so this is gonna take a little bit of a while. But you're gonna do that all around. So that part is completely out, and that's where we're gonna go ahead. So the next step is to go ahead and transfer over the center trim grill. onto the V4 bumper. You guys can see here. So it's gonna be the same process. You're gonna go ahead and push them into the tabs in there, line them up, and then screw the screws that you removed before, which I believe is 4 or 6, and secure that. And then the outer trim, you're gonna get it replaced, which is supplied, which I'll show you. And then on the headlight side, we have to replace also the brackets. So I'll show you that in a bit, along with the other customization or Dremel that we need to do in between these tabs so that everything closes perfectly. And we'll catch that in a few. So if your grill is not going in, just make sure that that this extra piece is cut off right by the line where you guys saw me recording on both sides. This is where that center bar was at, so just make sure that's just a key note. Modification you want to do is go ahead, you're going to cut in between the tabs here, as you guys saw. So I'm going to show you the difference. So here's without it, and there's 3 points, so you're going to go ahead and cut in between that, which is what you saw us doing here. So we're going to go ahead and do that side now. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is go ahead and use the supplied trim piece. This is from the OEM. The ones that we got here are unpainted. I don't know if you will be getting the painted ones or the non-painted ones, but just so you guys can tell the difference here. So we're putting in that trim piece. Has to be replaced because the OEM one would not line up or fit. So this is OEM. That one there is the one that's supplied. Another key note, if you guys notice here, this is extra here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. Sometimes just from manufacturing process, there's some extra slap there. If you see that your bumper's not going in, chances are it's not being cleared. So we're gonna go ahead and Dremel this all out. This is coming from the actual bumper. So I'm gonna try to line up here. So that gotta be removed. We're going ahead and screwing the other side, trim side, using the corner screw, so that we can go ahead and add the whole entire center grill now. So we're gonna go ahead, we started from here to connect the trim piece that's on the side, on the center grill. We went ahead and already screwed this part here, and all the tabs should line up. Again, keyword should. So
this is what we're putting in here.
So you can go ahead and do it if you want. I'll catch it here. So we'll do it on this side so you guys can see what we did on the other side. So that snaps on there to the trim piece. And all these tabs will line up in the center with the bumper. Alright, the next important modification that needs to be done is that the headlight brackets you guys see, this is the OEM one. I'm gonna go ahead and replace it with this one. There's some minor differences, but must be done in order for this bumper to fit properly. And you're gonna do that on both sides, so we have to go ahead and disassemble further here to access the headlight, which we'll cover in a little bit. But that's another key point there, is those headlight brackets. What we're gonna do is go ahead and transfer over the fogs. To do so, from the back side, there's 2 screws, and there's gonna be a screw on the front end side, which you need to remove the trim piece to access that last screw, and this will transfer over easily. So the trim piece is being held on by these tabs, as you guys see here. So you can use a flathead or any pry tool to go ahead and push this, and then this is the bottom side, so this trim has to come off completely. So here's the other screw after removing the trim. It's right in the front.
And these 2 on over there.
And those are from the back. So you'll transfer over the fogs on both sides. You'll use the 2 screws again. You tuck in from the front into the back end, and then you go ahead and you secure that. You do that on both sides. Then you're gonna go ahead and add the V4 trim fog piece from the front, and on the above side, you're gonna go ahead and screw it on with 5 small screws. As you guys see here. Make sure to align the pillars along with the hose. Secure it with those screws, those small ones. Alright, so this is the full V4 bumper fully assembled with the trim pieces in the front and all the trim. So now it's just a matter of replacing the brackets in the front and installing this bumper now. So that's how that looks. What's up, Tony?
It's dope, man.
And Mr. Paul. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and remove the headlight just to swap over the new bracket. So you need to remove this trim piece here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove a 10mm bolt here. And a 10mm there. And you're gonna remove this 10mm here on the side. And when you're removing this headlight, you gotta be very careful with this little tab right here. This can break off very easily, so you wanna make sure you release it and do not put too much pressure on here when you're removing that. 10mm, you're gonna need an extension to get that last 10mm screw. So there's the headlight assembly. There's key point here, there's like a pressure clip here. Make sure you release that, and again, be careful always with the top tab. The bracket is being held down by another 10mm at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and align the new bracket, transfer over the screw. All the connectors back on for the headlight, low beam and high beams, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the headlight back in. Now you have the option to go ahead and remove all this if you want to work a little bit more comfortably. You remove the tabs, and there's some 10mm bolts. We're just tucking in and working around it, so but that's an option. And you're all set. So now you just got to go ahead and replace the 10mm bolts that you took off, one in the front and one on the side. And so there's your 10mm. Do the side one. we're gonna do the other side. Again, we remove the trim, 2 tabs, and push down and releases the trim. The same process, we're gonna go ahead and remove the 4 millimeters, 2 on top, 1 on the side, and 1 in the front. So remove the connectors. And remove the secure clip so you can easily remove the whole headlight. So we're gonna do the same. We're gonna go ahead and remove the bracket. Again, it's being held down by the 10 millimeter. I'm going to transfer over the new bracket and then secure it with the 10 millimeter. So we're putting the headlight back in. We went ahead and already put the 10 millimeter there. We'll screw up the top and then also on the side screw. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the V4 bumper already on. Line it up from the top and make sure you have clearance on the bottom as well. This is just the standard procedure for even the OEM bumper. So we got one side in. As you guys saw, we additionally cut off a little bit of the rebar on the side. When I did mine and also on Paul's, we didn't have to do that, but definitely helps. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room to install this. And I want to be upfront, so the bumper in this area here, you're gonna have some struggles here. As long as you are able to clear that and push those tabs into where they need to be, you'll have a perfect clearance. You definitely will be struggling pushing it in, but with some help and pushing it, you'll get that in there eventually. So definitely. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. All right, we went ahead and already got the other side in, and now we're just gonna go ahead and put all the tabs back on.
What happens, bro?
Back the trim pieces back on both sides. And installation will be complete. Alright guys, there you have it. The V4 bumper fully installed. If you guys have any questions, comments, go ahead and drop them below. Once again guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe as always. Until next time, Boost the Whips. I'm out. Have a very pleasant day, and God bless.